American corporation that designs and manufactures computer hardware, software, and other consumer electronics. Apple was established on April 1st, 1976 by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne to sell the Apple First personal kit. Apple is the world's largest information technology company by revenue and the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturer after Samsung. In February 2015, Apple became the first US company to be valued at over $700 billion. Apple worldwide annual revenue totaled to $215 billion for the 2016 fiscal year. The company enjoys a high level of brand loyalty and has been repeatedly ranked as the world's most valuable brand. When Steve Jobs led Apple, it isn't as though the company wasn't social irresponsible. It was that every single item they made was seen through the lens of the product. Apple cared about its environmental impact, but for some people, social responsibility was just not there. But Jobs, of course, was not interested in what other people thought he should be doing. He was more interested in what he thought worked to make the most amazing product in the world. Tim Cook was the man to take over. He made Apple profitable by making the operation arm generally efficient. It quickly became evident that he was more open and more engaged when it came to a broader focus on social responsibility. The company has made major investments in renewable energy. At one point, someone pointed out that advancing environmental policies were not good for the business in financial wise. But he responded back by saying, "We do a lot of things for reasons besides the profit motive." He recommended that anyone who had a problem with that should feel free to get out the stock. Apple employs millions of people around the world. The decision Apple make can have a big impact on people's lives and their community. Apple has a big responsibility to protect the rights of all people in their supply chain and to do everything they can to preserve the planet's fragile environment. They obsess over every detail of how they can build their product. They invest in education and training to provide opportunities and tools to help their employees today and in the future.
The corporation is the most important form of business organization in the United States. A corporation is a legal person separate and distinct from its owner. It has many of the rights, duties, and privileges of an actual person. Corporations can borrow money and own property, can also sue and be sued, and can enter into contracts. Apple is a large corporation. When there is a large corporation, the stockholders and the managers are usually separate groups. Stockholders elect the board of directors, who then select the managers. Managers are charged with running the corporation affairs in the stockholders' interest. In principle, stockholders control the corporation because they elect the directors. Apple likes to keep it simple. Instead of ads and other marketing messages, are very straightforward, typically showing the product and letting it speak for itself. Leave out the flashy noise, strip down the content to the bare minimum, and display simple graphics that translate your message. Apple has the budget to get its devices on these television shows and movies. Apple also shares its own on their social media sites like Instagram and Snapchat. Once an influencer shares your product and shows their followers how beneficial it is. Apple also do a free trial or a sample can be offered in exchange for a testimonial or a review that appears on social media or a review website. Many times customers are happy to give a review if you just ask them. A big part of Apple's marketing strategy is that they never get involved in price wars. They stick to their pricing. It is often much higher than any of the competition. Apple also focuses on providing a great user experience with cool features and extensive applications that put it in a product class by itself. Whatever device Apple is offering, they make sure the customer feels like it's worth paying the high price. Apple loves to use visuals. We live in a world of content where people are bombarded with words all the time. That's why videos have become so popular. There's far fewer words and more images that can make a greater impact upon the customer experience. Apple even have ads with only 10 words because they understand that the words, especially the excess of words, is not what resonates with customers and prospects. When creating marketing campaigns, fewer words mean more to the audience, especially when they are given images that resonate on a deeper emotional level.
Fidgeter, me but miniature, sleeping on the sofa till she tackles and I tickle her the whisperer. I could be your listener, telling me your stories while I'm showing her a signature, the scribbler.
Apple meanwhile is present on social media, so that its unwillingness to use Apple Twitter handle seem to bear no impact on the company and it generated positive perception among the customer. Apple would be a terrible example to follow on social media for most brands, say David Berkowitz, CMO at creative and technology agency MRY. Apple Music has 7.5 million followers. The Apple Store is approaching 4 million. iTunes has 806,000. And recently launched Beat One account already has more than 314,000 followers on Twitter. For example, have collected 1.44 million followers in joining Twitter 2 years ago. Another example, the Apple Music Tumblr page consistently updated with detail on upcoming feature information about popular artists and other mode of musical discovery. The company launched its first social media app company just 17 months ago and placed it bet on Tumblr instead of Facebook or Twitter. They haven't exactly revised course on social media, but it's striking slightly different than these days, or at least it's been more active, even if the effort is showing. A Seisman Health Forum can gain virtuous benefit from international strategies such as increased market size, greater return on major capital investment in new product and process, greater economy scale, scope, and competitive advantages through location to gain low cost labor and capital resource, perform exporting and importing activity to buy and sell the good with the international market. At the same time, the organization has made international strategy and business model to increase its effectiveness.